Hello, friends, and welcome back to Stories About Entitled People. In our first story, the OP had to deal with a new boss who decided it was possible to force a person to work by force. So let's see how that turned out. But before we begin, best way to support our channel is to leave comments, like, and subscribe with the turned-on bell so you don't miss the new video every single day. Here we go. If you wanted me to show up for my last 2 shifts, you should not have acted like such a jerk. 2 weeks ago, out of the blue, I got a phone call from my boss. He told me that someone else would be my supervisor now and that we would be working until midnight instead of the usual 11. I didn't know any of this was happening. I put in my 2 weeks notice at the end of the phone call as I ride the bus and wouldn't be able to get home until closer to 1 a.m., which wouldn't work with the upcoming school year. It's a janitorial job that hardly paid the bills. Oh, and right, the new supervisor, she's a woman named Rosa. She worked the day shift in our building. One time I left a mop in the closet, and when I came back the next day, she'd printed out a bunch of "Do not leave dirty mops here" signs and plastered them everywhere. I mean everywhere. I can't believe they let her waste the paper when she could have just told me with her words like an adult. When the schedule changed, I had to tell my ex-boss that I'd be leaving early, and I would have told Rosa, but she never gave me her number to call her. So I told her at work. I gotta go at 11:30. No, my schedule says we're here until midnight. Yeah, I talked to Bo already. You can call him if you want. I just don't want to take the bus home that late. And then she actually blocked my path. She stood in front of me in the door and told me again, the schedule says until midnight. Her chest was puffed out. She was trying to intimidate me into working? This woman's a lot bigger than I am, but I wasn't really nervous because if she was to hit me, like she seemed to be setting up to do, I could probably get some money out of it. I was beyond uncomfortable, and I told her, well, I only have like 15 minutes before I gotta go, so I'm gonna go take the rest of the trash out. She mentioned Bo, the ex-boss, and I said, I'm not calling Bo. I already did. And she told me, yeah, you better not call Bo because I'm the supervisor now and I'm telling you that you can't leave early. I left early anyway. I just slipped out when I was done without saying goodbye. When I came back for my next shift, there was a sign printed and hanging in the clock-in room. Friendly reminder, the housekeeping department schedule has changed and the hours are now 9 to 12. If you cannot meet these requirements, please let the supervisor, Rosa last name, know. Hours are not optional, thank you. Not really so friendly. She should have just wrote my name on it, but I wasn't working with her for the rest of that week, so I worked my shifts. Mind you, when she posted this notice, I only had 4 shifts left. Yesterday, though? Oh, crap. Yesterday I didn't go, and I'm not going today either. These are my last 2 shifts. I'd be there if she didn't act like whatever, but I can't bring myself to pay $20 to get out there and back just to deal with straight trouble and make $60. So today I did as yesterday. I'll enjoy laying down in my bed at a normal bedtime while I laugh at my ringing phone. And our second story. Sorry, but I don't want this. So I've worked at a more sit-down type fast food restaurant for the past 2.5 or 3 years. While working there, I've had my fair share of dumb butts, jerks, and stuck-up people, but the guy this story's about took the cake. Side note, I've been working there long enough and know my stuff, so I'm considered a manager, but I won't take the official title because I don't want to have to be in charge of the other idiots that work there. Also, me and the owner get along great, so that helps out my position a lot. But back to the story. During the past couple weeks, we just hired on about 10 new people, so naturally the next few weeks were going to be hell while I and a couple others had to train them. And of course, evenings are usually when we train the new people in because it's generally slower than in the morning, so it's overall easier to get the hang of it. On the evening of this occasion, we had myself, 4 newbies, and 2 managers on duty. It was a hot Friday night, close to the 4th of July, and for the past week or so, we'd been getting tons of rainstorms. This specific night, though, we'd gotten the worst storm of them all. Trees were knocked down, power went out all around the city, and everyone's plans for the evening had just been rained out. So what did they do? Everyone and their grandma's aunt came to our little food store to get food. Now, to cut my long story short, I'm just going to leave out some miscellaneous details. It was about 8:30 when everyone came pouring into our store wanting to buy custard, a frozen dessert similar to ice cream, burgers, and everything else. The orders started coming in heavy, so the lead manager, LM, went to the kitchen, because he loves cooking, to help cook and supervise the orders. The secondary manager, SM, stayed over in drive-thru, because in all honesty, that's the only thing she was really good at. So that left me running the front of the store and having to watch all the newbies. As you can guess, the orders started getting backed up. I was running from place to place, helping people and coworkers get what they needed. Finally, we got to a point where all the workers knew to stay where they were at and to do their specific jobs. That freed me up to go back to my position where I set all the orders. At one point, I'd noticed a guy that just kept staring at me, and from his look, you could tell that he wasn't too happy with having to wait so long for his food. Finally, after about 10 minutes, his food came down the chute, and I set it immediately so I could get him out of my store because he was also making my coworkers uncomfortable. I personally took the food over to him and asked if he needed any salt or ketchup with his order. Grumpy customer, GC. No, and I want this food remade immediately. Me. Sorry? GC, who's a pretty big and burly guy. I've been staring at my food for the past 15 minutes. As I said, he'd only been waiting about 10. Now it's all cold, dry, and disgusting. Me. Sorry, sir, but I think you're mistaken. Your food only just came down the chute. Is it possible you were looking at someone else's order? GC, at this point pissed that I had the nerve to talk back. No, my food's been sitting there and I want it remade now. And I want coupons for free food. At this point, I looked down at his food and had to shake my head in dismay. I was already incredibly behind with orders and now had to deal with this guy? GC saw me shake my head and immediately jumped to the conclusion of me having an attitude. GC yelled, "Now you cut that crap right now. Don't have an attitude with me when you're the one effing up people's orders and mine." Again, that was a lie. I always check orders before I send them out. Thankfully, the SM had seen him getting upset and at this point had to completely stop what she was doing on drive-thru and come over to deal with him, since, as I said above, I won't take the manager title, so I don't have the authority to kick him out. SM to GC. Is there something I can help you with? GC started telling about how I had verbally abused him and had let his food sit in the chute, getting cold and nasty. SM. Oh, well, I'm sorry, sir. Can I get you a refund for your trouble? At this point, me and her both wanted him gone, which is the only reason she was offering a refund. GC. What the F do you think? Of effing course. SM. Can you tell me your order so I can ring it up and get the right money back to you? GC. Yeah. He then started to list off his order, but he was in fact giving her double the number of items he'd ordered. Thankfully for me and SM, I knew the order off the top of my head and told her GC was lying. GC, after hearing me say that, got all the more livid with me and was ready to punch me from across the counter. Anyway, to save some more drama for you guys, in the end, GC got his money and we were able to kick him out without his food, since he didn't even deserve anything at all for being so rude. End. And our last story. Banned our neighbor from our property. My husband and I moved to our house 3 years ago. Upon moving, our property marker mysteriously disappeared and our neighbor, Tammy, seems to think we don't know where the property line is. Tammy and the previous owner of our home made up a new boundary line that suited each of them. Our house has some exterior stairs that sit on her property. We don't use or maintain them, and she accesses her backyard through our driveway and side yard. Her house sits right next to our driveway. They're separated by about 15 feet of yard. 10 feet is our property and 5 feet is hers. Her property is landscaped, making it impossible to walk on. Our side is grass. When Tammy has guests over, they walk on our driveway and through our side yard to get to her backyard. Tammy pays a handyman to mow the grass and he weeds her landscaping. We've let it go to avoid conflict, but she acts as though it's her property and assumes we don't realize that it's ours. Last year, we installed new gutters. A tree from her property was resting on the gutter, so we needed to remove the limb. We trimmed the branch at the property line, within our rights, and Tammy got upset. She asked us to talk to her about any work relating to her trees because she doesn't like the look of trees when they're trimmed. We've given her a heads up. We're having outdoor work done ever since. Tammy will not extend us the same courtesy. Tammy recently had a handyman build a landscaping wall between our driveways. 70% of the paver structure is on our property. She asked my husband how he liked it, and he told her that he thought it was a nice feature, but that more than half of the structure was on our property. She said it could be removed if it was ever an issue. He asked her to talk with us about work that would impact our property, like she asked us. She agreed. Yesterday, she had the same handyman put down grass seed in our side yard, add topsoil, and then he roped it off along our driveway to prevent us from walking on the area. To be clear, he roped off access to our own yard. To complicate things further, the handyman she hires is a neighborhood resident who has sued multiple neighbors after getting hurt on their property. If he had injured himself doing the landscaping or the retaining wall, we would have been liable because it's our property. Same goes for future work. I feel that we've been accommodating enough, so I decided to have the property resurveyed and sent a certified letter notifying the neighbor and her handyman that they were not allowed to trespass on our property. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.